Round two, the Cala Golf Resort and Spa, the Campo America golf course. Hole one is 480 yards, par 5, straight downhill, very wide to the left. There's bailout zones, but to the right there's hazard and death. This hole was actually played as a par 4 in Q school, and it was on a tee down at the bottom of the hill, and it was a pretty tough par 4, but I like a nice easy par 5 to start. And this one was a pull draw that I was trying to cut. Just probably bailed, didn't want to go right. Wanted to tee off from up here because the view is obviously incredible. So I got 172 yards. It's uphill into the wind. Got a 7-iron here. Pin is middle right. So actually a pretty good angle. I mean, it was a great, as far as bailing out goes, this is as good as it gets. Got a 7-iron. And this one was hit very nicely, but the wind stood it up a lot more than I thought it was going to, and so once it kind of hits that wall of wind, it drops down. So I got about a, let's say a 13-yard pitch at a 54 degree, plenty of green to work with. Slope goes left to right, so I try to make sure I keep my chest down as I turn on these because I have a tendency to leave these short right. Not this one. This was hit very nicely. A little past the hole, rolls out to about 3 feet. So these greens are like bent, whereas the other side are all Bermuda greens. They're not near as firm as the other side. And this side rolls nice and true, and that's a good way to start. Pretty soft start. These first two holes, short par 5 and then 355-yard par 4. And this is downwind today, so I'm gonna try to get it as close to the green as I can. Opposite wind than normal. This is usually into. And I'm hitting, iron full wedge or something. And this one I got under, started out right, power drew it to the left. Not a good tee shot. So my first two tee shots to the left. Now I got a 55-yard shot here. Ball's below my feet, downwind, very narrow green. Not the best leave I wanted. I was really hoping I could hit one straight and go into that bunker. And this is just a brain fart. I mean, landing it 5 feet short of the green, and watch, this is the La Cala staple right here. Look at my ball go. Went down another 30 yards. I mean, just can't miss that short. And so now I'm in a mucky lie because we actually had a big old rainstorm the night before, and when it rains in the Malaga area, it pours. I think anybody who's ever been there can attest to that. So I kind of have like a really mucky, sketchy lie. I just handle dragged it, left it out to the right. Not good. So right to left putt here about 9 feet. I think overall, I mean, for how poorly I hit that pitch shot, I mean, to have this putt's not so bad. It's not a bad putt, just barely misses. I think I need to either hit it a little bit softer or take a little lower line. The one I chose, so a disappointing bogey. Like I said, it's a soft start. You don't want to be going birdie bogey to start this thing. So this next hole is 326 yards. You know, a lot of you might be thinking I should be going for this, but what this course does, they have a lot of short par fours, but they're extremely narrow and very, very penalizing if you're offline. Like really narrow greens. So if I miss mine down the right, I would have almost no chance of holding the green. So I'm going to hit a 3-iron. This one was nice. Nice little chaser up there. The pin's in the back, so I got 118 yards. It's uphill, but downwind. And I think if you hit it high, you can really negate the uphill part by using the wind. So I got my 54 degree. There's if this misses right, it drops down into just such a hard shot. But there's a hill to the left, so it felt like there was a little bit of a buffer. So I'm just aiming straight at it. And this was hit so nicely. Flighted nice, dead straight at the flag. And here we go. Little tap in. It's about a foot or so. The ball landed right up there, spun back. Might have even had some eyes for the hole. Nice, easy birdie. This is a very difficult par 3. Pin's in the back today, so I was playing a little over 200. I got a 6-iron. The wind is coming into. The reason I'm hitting 6-iron is because this pin's in like a really narrow portion of the green in the very back, and the fattest part is in the middle of the green. So if I can hit to the middle of the green, 2-putt, and get out of there, maybe make a 30-footer, but can't go for it. This one wasn't hit bad either, but again, I'm not really necessarily controlling my spin rate on these first few holes, so it kind of stood up in the wind, dropped down, landed just short of the green, and rolled back to this point. So I got a 25-yard pitch. Hitting my 54 degree, very severe green, left to right. This one was hit nicely, good contact, but look at the green, it just takes it off to the right. I think if I really wanted to get that super close, I'd have to hit a 60 degree and land it really close to the pin with a lot of spin. But nonetheless, I left myself an uphill putt. I'm reading this like straight in. The key is really to keep the speed up. And I actually pulled the crap out of this thing. I think sometimes subconsciously when I know I've misread it and I'm aiming right, like I naturally pull it back in. So I mean that's a lucky, very lucky par. So 354 yards. Again, can't hit driver. Very, very narrow. The OB comes in quick on the left, and then the brank on the right is very much in play. So I got a 3-wood. The wind is coming in and off the right a little bit. So like I feel like there's a buffer to the right. So I feel very comfortable hitting cuts into right to left winds. So I'm just aiming at the bunker here. I'm just going to cut it into the wind. And this one was flushed. Right where I want it. 81 yards here to a back left pin. There is a big fall off to the left, a little bit of a hill to the right. The wind is pushing it towards that fall off, so I got to be very aware of that. Try to flight this thing so the wind doesn't take it. This one was flighted nicely. Just a little bit too long. Really nice view down the hill there. The mountains in the background. perfect weather, obviously. This weather, or this whole area of Malaga is really similar to San Diego. The mountains maybe be a little more severe, but it's like the same kind of grass, same climate. I mean, it literally feels like home. So I got a 16 footer here. And just a weak effort. Thought it was going to be faster, but I also would have missed that to the right anyway, so. The par it is. On to the next hole, which is a par 5, 513 yards. Very, very, very narrow and into the wind. The breeze is starting to really pick up right now, and this is an intimidating tee shot into the wind. It's normally down, and you can just send one. Got OB to the right and a batch of trees to the left that leads to a layup. So I gotta make sure I flight this thing down. And this was hit nicely, just literally 10 feet farther right than I wanted, and if I was farther left, I could catch this big ridge and roll another 40 yards. You can see it to the left that I missed it. So now I got 230 yards. I got a 5-wood here. It's a very, very steep hill leading up to this green. I mean, it's probably plus, from this angle, plus 15. And I got to flush this. If this ends up being short, it's going to roll down 70 yards down. And this is the stuff dreams are made of. You just hit the shot that's directly in your mind's eye. Right in the middle of the green, right where I wanted it. Sucker pin to the left, so I couldn't go for it. So I was very happy. So I got an eagle putt here, 35 feet. Not a good putt in this one here. Another weak effort. 2 weak efforts in a row. Left it about 3.5 feet short. But the greens out here at La Cala are extremely true. So you know if you hit your line and you read it right, it's going to go in. So these putts become a little easier. Really cool view in this hole. See the ocean out there on the right. This is a good stroke. Make up for the bad first putt with a nice second putt. Now I am 8 under par. 456 yard par 4. This tee shot is normally extremely difficult because it's usually into the wind. Today it's downwind, and because of that I'm going to hit driver because the hazard that's on the right is carryable when it's downwind. On a normal day you have to aim at the bunker there and draw it. And if you miss it left, it is just doomed. And it's sketchy to kind of aim at the hazard area to turn it over. So now I get to just kind of aim right over it. And it was crunched. This thing stayed in the air forever. "75 yards up the hill. I can't see the flag. Very downwind. Got my 60 degree here. Pins in the back. And this one was turboed. I mean, I knew at the moment I hit it that I hit it too hard. And I hit it way too hard. It landed on the other side of that little slope, rolled all the way back to this down slope. The ball is way up, kind of like above my feet on a steep down slope. The only thing that helps me here is that I'm hitting back into the wind. All I'm trying to do is make good contact with this thing. And this shot was ridiculous. that was that was a crazy good shot. You can see I was kind of under that tree there. Didn't have much green to work with, and just clipped it perfect into the wind. It floated, got side spin, stopped about 3.5 feet. So great chance to get out of jail here after making such a bad mental error. And I did. Despite the mistake of hitting, as a birdie opportunity, really, despite the mistake, getting up and down from something like that really helps build momentum. And when the wind's starting to pick up like this out here, you don't want to be giving away strokes, so every stroke matters. Got a 129-yard par 3. The wind is coming hard in and right to left, and I got a 9-iron here. Fortunately, I started this one too far left, kind of smothered it. The wind took it, and it's into the bunker. And I am completely plugged. This is just a classic Cala thing. You make a mistake, and you get penalized. I mean, most of the times you don't get out of these penalizing situations like I did in the last hole. So I'm on a gnarly upslope here. Trying to find a stance. And this was even though it was plugged and on a really bad upslope like that, that was a really bad bunker shot. I got way too steep, so I just squirted out to the right. Honestly, I'm pretty lucky to even have a putt for par from there, so got a 19, 20 footer. And no chance right off the get-go. Disappointing bogey. And back to 7 under. Here we got a 517-yard par 5. It is playing downhill. Very, very narrow, sketchy tee shot. I usually struggle with this one actually, but since it's downwind, I want to send driver, and there's a big hill to the right of that bunker that will roll it down another 60 yards. I mean, this is a strong potential of a 400 plus yard drive. It's way downhill. And this was even more smoke than that last one. I mean, couldn't hit this one any better, more flush. It was just perfect. But I'm watching it because I want to see it hit this downslope and go right, but it takes a bounce and goes straight. And actually, one bounce hit 365 yards into the hazard. So I took a drop on line with the pin, go back as far as to a nice yardage here to 147 yards. And I got a 54 degrees, way downhill and downwind. So I hit a full shot here, made sure I stayed down on it because the ball is below my feet and this is tracking. A really good shot. Somehow managed to put it inside of 7 feet, and I have this for a hazard birdie. You can see to the left of me how steep the hill is and how severe it is going downhill, and you see why those 2 shots went so far. So this would be a great gift. Really good stroke, dead center. What a birdie. So I'm 8 under through 27 holes. 2 off the goal with 9 to go. Let's go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to watch part 2 coming up soon.